Niman Hao. My name is Ruslan Kalachov. I am development director working for BeWire, or shortly BW LLC. BeWire is registered trademark, which basically means to be guide for manufacturers in regulatory area. It's my honor to deliver the speech for all of you today. Many thanks to organizer Jiangsu Trade Promotion International and Exhibition CO Ltd to be the part of such great event. Our main topics for today is first of all, why Russia? Why is good time for Chinese manufacturers to go to Russia? How about economy in Russia and CIS countries? What is national registration process for medical devices in Russia? It's our second topic. And what is good to know in advance? Third topic is what is single market of medical devices within Eurasian Economic Union, short name EIEU. It's more reasonable to go there, or better to register device according to national registration procedure in Russia. Short info about us. Company BW is consulting agency based in Moscow, which was founded in 2016. Founders Tatiana Nosova and Ruslan Kalachov. By education background, we are biomedical engineers. Tatiana has experience in medical device regulation from 2007, and I work in medical device industry since 2014. In 2016, we have founded Moscow office. That is main location for technical team today. In 2020, we have established Chinese office in Jiangsu province in Nanjing city. Office in Nanjing gives us ability for quality support of our Chinese clients. In 2022, testing lab TestMe LLC have obtained accreditation in national registration system, and after was included in the list of EIU accredited organizations. Generally, this infrastructure allows us to support our projects better and faster. Russian market access, main business of our group of companies. We are not distribution or sales company. Regulatory affairs services related to medical devices is our core competence. Acting as third party, we provide professional services for medical device approvals. Our clients are spread worldwide. BV works with US, German, French, Korean, Japanese, and Chinese manufacturers. Each year, we obtain more than 100 registration certificates only as authorized representative, which can be checked on official Roszdravnadzor website. We have obtained registration certificates for Wego, Zibio, Wonfo, Lifatronic, Newsoft, United Imaging Healthcare, and many other Chinese companies. Moscow office team is 39 people in-house, and testing laboratory currently is 20 employees. So let's proceed to first session. Each year, our agency calculates the quantity of registered devices. After that, we prepare statistics by country of origin. Of course, Russian manufacturers is ranked on first place with mainly low-risk class products, but in the same time, they satisfy only 20% of market demand. Many years until 2020, the second and third place were belonged to US and German manufacturers, mostly represented by giant corporations such Johnson & Johnson, Medtronic, Siemens, Abbott, etc. Chinese medical devices were ranked on fourth place by quantity of registered devices after Russia, US, and Germany, but until 2020. In 2023, Chinese medical device manufacturers have registered the largest number of medical devices among foreign manufacturers. For 2023, China have had almost 16% from the total share, when USA and Germany, each of country has less than 10%. Why it's time to go to Russia now for Chinese manufacturers? Domestic manufacturers has not enough capacity to replace products from so-called not friendly countries or to produce all products inside its territory. As I mentioned, according to statistics of Roszdravnadzor, only 20% share of medical devices are from Russian manufacturers. Official figures about registration certificates issued for medical devices under national rules you can see on the right side of the slide. We have more information in BW Wake official channel, so you can compare and look statistical data about registration from different years by product type, approvals process, as well as by risk classes. So please scan QR code in the middle of the slide and create connection with us to stay in touch. China is friendly country and hospitals in Russia have unwritten rules to buy products from China, as well as it's still easier to operate, to buy and sell products between Russia and China in comparison with unfriendly countries due to geopolitical reasons. What is critical to know and how manufacturer can check or update information about Russian medical device market? A lot of information could be found in the internet. First of all, official resources from government Ministry of Health structures, that is Roszdravnadzor, impossible pronounce for foreigners, not only for Chinese organizations. We call it shortly RZM. Department of Ministry of Health in Russia has open a website with a lot of information. Unfortunately, all information presented only in Russian language. RZN website has several pages about medical devices registered in Russia for today. For example, you can find and check data about registered competitor companies or issued permissions for samples import for the testing purpose. The second website with government purchases and sales in public healthcare, that is zakupki.gov.ru. Available also only in Russian and required a lot of time to collect data even if Russian is your native language. It's better to use Yandex browser, not Baidu or others, just because Russian government resources require special encrypted keys. So we recommend to download and install Yandex browser, create account and use it for searches in Russian. For instance, I have MacBook and always use Safari browser. When I try to open databases of registered devices and permission for samples import, I fail to open links in Safari, but when I do the same from Google Chrome, it works. So use Yandex browser. Russia is the largest country in the world by territory with more than 17 million square kilometers and consists of 8 federal districts and 89 regions. Regions are very the same with Chinese provinces by meaning. By population, Russia, of course, is not so big as China and ranked on ninth place in the world with 146 million people population. Due to huge area, Russia has separate administration districts, same as I mentioned before, as provinces in China. And each district has own specific policies and budgeting. You can see 8 federal districts on this slide. So that is North Caucasus Federal Districts, Southern Federal District, Central Federal District, Northwest Federal District, Volga Federal District, Urals Federal District, Siberian Federal District, and Far East Federal District. Russia has more than 27,000 healthcare organizations, 5,000 hospitals or so-called inpatient clinics, and 22,000 outpatient clinics, or usually we call it polyclinics. In internal circle, you can see quantity of hospitals located in each district, and in external circle specified share of healthcare organization from overall quantity. If to scan QR code in this slide, you can find our own review in BeWire website with more details. We collect data from different open government sources and provide graphical and other analytics, which is performed by our team. Huge area is the main reason why often Chinese manufacturers decide to have several sales partners for Russian market, not only one. And of course, it's the best decision in order to build independent strategy when you split registration process and sales process. Population and hospitals are distributed unevenly, and most of population is located in Central Federal District, as well as almost 30% of healthcare organizations are located here as well. As you may already guessed, of course, Moscow City is located in Central Federal District. I believe the same situation in China. East part with Beijing, Shanghai, and other big cities is more developed in comparison with west part of China. Let's see how about economy in neighbor countries and look for a short review. So Armenia is member state of Eurasian Economic Union, has simple national regulation for medical devices. Population is almost 3 million people with more than 600 healthcare organizations. GDP, gross domestic product per capita for 2021 is approximately $5,000. Expenditures of state budget for healthcare is more than $300 million. Belarus is also member state of EIEU and has special economy zone for Chinese medical device manufacturers, Great Stone production area near Minsk. National registration system for medical devices is simpler and faster than national registration system in Russia for today. Population of Belarus is more than 9 million people. More than 2,800 healthcare organizations, and GDP per capita is $7,300. Budget expenses is almost $750 million USD dollars. Kazakhstan is second economy by size from EIU members after Russia, with population almost 20 million people and more than almost 1,000 hospitals. GDP per capita is more than 11,000 US dollars. Kyrgyzstan is small market for medical devices and best friend of Kazakhstan. The other side is very simple medical device market access process, member of EIU as well. Population is almost 7 million people, almost 180 health organizations, and GDP per capita is more than 1,700 US dollars. Uzbekistan, fast-growing economy with big number of newborns, not a member of EIU, has specific market access process and usually required for localization from medical device manufacturers. Quite big population is almost 35 million people, more than 1,300 hospitals, and GDP per capita is roughly 2,300 US dollars. Our second session is about market access process for medical devices in Russia. We will talk about national registration procedure. So medical device definition is quite the same. As I was informed by colleagues from CCPIT, today we have a lot of participants from IVD manufacturers companies. So I want to emphasize that IVD product, IVD medical device, is included in definition of medical device according to Russian law. So the registration procedure for medical devices and for IVD products will be quite the same. We have national classification rules. First of all, it's OKPD2 code, which almost all products which are circulated in Russian territory has own OKPD2 code. It's mainly intended for government statistics. And the second intended use is define of value added tax. In Russia, we have three rates of value added tax or VAT. That is maximum rate 20%, applied for almost all products. And for medical devices, depending on OKPD2 code, it can be 10 or 0%. It's very important to identify proper OKPD2 code in the very beginning, because it's impossible to change OKPD2 code after registration is done. So please pay attention to this point. Also, we have classification by risk class, which are quite the same with MDD or MDR in Europe. Risk classes names are the same: 1, 2A, 2B, and third risk classes devices. We have no 1S sterile and 1M measuring function. And criterions for classification are also different. So usually devices in Russia are classified for higher risk classes in comparison with European Union, with C mark. For IVD products, also the indexes, the risk classes they have the same name. 1, 2A, 2B, and third risk class. But criterions for classification are also differ from criterions for medical devices. And third classification is classifier for medical devices. Nomenclature, we call it 4N because it's regulated by 4N decree. It's a very short and general description for medical devices. From 2016, Russian regulation for medical devices has several options. The main is national regulation level, and the second one is EIU regulation level. According to initial plan to launch single market within EIU, all registration certificates issued in national registration systems of EIU member states should be valid in the territory of the member states where they have been issued until the expiry of their validity terms, but not later than December 31, 2021. But national registration system was prolonged twice and still in action. According to current legislation, submission in national registration system can be done until 2026, and already issued registration certificates and registration certificates which will be issued have no expiry date, even if EIU become a single option for manufacturer. They can use registration certificates issued only for Russian market after 2026, and of course only in Russia. What is the difference? If you obtain registration certificate according to national registration system in Russia, certificate will be valid only inside Russian market. It have been already several times announced by Russian government that national registration system for medical devices will be replaced by single market within EIU regulation soon, as I mentioned in the beginning of the slide. National level, based on main law, order Russian government 1416 from 2012 with updates as main regulation requirements, as well as we have so-called fast track options. Fast track options are separate topics. These certificates have expiry date and special requirements. Regulation in EIU from 2016 has a lot of open questions and still is not single option for Russia and EIU member states. Main idea is single registration procedure and one certificate for 5 countries, as it works for CE certification. How it works today, we will see in part session 3 of our presentation. So we will not focus on fast track registration. Just please keep in mind that they have limitation and can be applied for special products from the list and usually have expiry dates. General registration process has 10 steps. You can see them on the slide with lead time from 9 to 12 months. So which parties are involved in the process except of Russian government? Blue blocks on the slide, Russian government is involved. Gray blocks, AR or authorized representative appointed by manufacturer. Yellow blocks, testing laboratories and hospitals accredited inside Russia by Russian government. Each foreign manufacturer must appoint AR company. It should be only Russian entity or only Russian manufacturer. Don't need to have AR just because they can be in charge of circulation of medical device in Russian territory by themselves. We will discuss only general registration flow chart. It's regulated by order of Russian government 1416, and I would like to fix your attention in biggest difference with other countries' regulation. In Russia, we have classification by risk class, and registration process doesn't depend on risk class. So generally, registration process will be the same. Doesn't matter your products is belong to first risk class or third risk class implantable device. For example, only factory audit process depends from risk class, but no other changes. Let's see how it works. Stage 1, foreign manufacturer should appoint AR and prepare documents about company, legal entity, factory sites, and prepare technical dossier for the product. This technical dossier will be adopted to Russian requirements in next steps. So what are company documents? Usually it's business license, a power of attorney for AR company to arrange testing, to submit documents to RZ10 and perform registration procedure. ISO 13485 certificate and CE mark or evidence of registration in other foreign countries is not mandatory anymore since 2023. Documents legalization for company documents should be legalized in CCP IT and additionally do apostille. It's also have changed because China have joined GAC convention, because in previous years apostille was not applicable, and usually after CCPAT documents should be legalized in Russian embassy in China. Now all company documents need to be legalized in CCPAT and do apostille. For technical file and instruction for user, which will be submitted in Russian as part of registration dossier, CCPAT is enough. During stage 2, AR prepares technical dossier according to Russian regulation requirements. They are written in order 4N, I apologize, 11N. And technical file for Russian dossier has specific composition. You could find requirements in English language at BW website. Please don't forget to switch on the language to English after opening the link, because initially it will be in Russian. What we usually ask to provide for Russian technical dossier preparation, that is technical documents, extract from the technical file, instruction for user, packaging list, description of differences between models, risk management report, clinical evaluation report, design, development, and manufacturing process for medical devices, photos and layouts of labels for all elements in composition which have label, description and photos of product label, description and photos of product, software verification and validation report, design development process for software, validation of sterilization process, validation of packaging process, list of materials, material safety data sheet, and usability engineering file. Next step is to prepare samples. So let's say we have all documents, we have developed technical file, instruction for user, application for registration. Next step is to prepare samples of registered product and send them to Russia. Only after obtaining of permission for samples input, a manufacturer can send the samples to Russia. Please don't use unofficial Chinese shipment because custom clearance process is also required and usually supported by AR. It's impossible to obtain registration certificate for Russian market without samples import process. Process is different only for heavy equipment like X-rays, MRI, and CT scanners. Samples are required inside Russia for local trials. Preclinical trials stage consists of biocompatibility trials. Usually it's well-recognized ISO 10993 group of standards, technical trials and electromagnetic compatibility trials. For some kind of products, additional types of trials can be required. Laboratory which performs trials in Russia must have accreditation from Russian government entity, Federal Service Rosakkreditatsiya, for exactly this kind of product and applicable standards or test methods of your products. This is critical point, so you can check accreditation by website as well. The QR code is located in left side of the slide. Trials are regulated by Order 885N. You can see the full text in our website if to scan QR code on the right side on the slide. After preclinical trials are done, manufacturer should confirm technical dossier for Russian market and keeps records of it, as well as to do legalization of technical file and IFU in China. As I mentioned in previous slides, for technical file and IFU CCPT, legalization is enough. No need to do apostille as for company documents. Next step is clinical trials. Regulation is also Order 885N. The main point here, even if clinical trials provided in Russia as clinical evaluation without human subject, clinical evaluation report must be signed by Russian accredited hospital or clinical site. This clinical trial stage is not the same as clinical evaluation report from manufacturer side. Usually we try to find way how to avoid clinical investigation for human subject. And usually we say if we have comparable or so-called generic device registered in Russian market in past, if we have risk management file according to ISO 14971, and if we have science articles about method, about clinical practice, usually we say that it's key points to avoid clinical investigation for human subject. But remember, even you do clinical evaluation, it should be the test report for clinical evaluation should be issued, stamped and signed by accredited clinical site in Russia. After clinical trials are done, it's time to provide factory audit. This is new requirement. Factory audit provided on site from 2024 for 2B and third risk class medical devices. For other devices, it's enough to have factory quality management system report from notified body. This stage can be long, 90 days. That's why we ask manufacturer to start preparation in advance, better in same time with technical trials. Factory audit is provided by Russian government staff. Usually 3 persons go to check each factory for 3 working days. After factory audit, Russian registration dossier is ready for submission. And just after dossier submitted to RZ10, you can check submission status and steps of government review in the website. See your code. 2 government expert centers are in charge of dossier review. That is Russian Scientific Institute of Medical Devices Testing, or VNIIMT, and National Institute of Quality, or shortly we call it NIC in Russian. AR or manufacturer are not able to make a choice which organization will conduct expertise. It's decided by government, RZ10. First stage, expert in RZ10 review, or so-called legal dossier review. And the second stage is expert center review. Both steps can have requests to provide additional information. In this stage, AR is limited in time to provide reply. Usually, according to our statistics, let's say 90% of our submissions goes through additional requests from RZ10. If all is fine, registration certificate is issued. It looks like red paper. You can see here on the slide. The day when manufacturer received registration certificate, it's just beginning. Please keep in mind that there are a lot of regulatory actions after registration is done and product already in Russian market. So as I was informed about our attendees, that a lot of our participants are IVD medical devices manufacturers, I did additional slide with some specific point for IVD. So as I mentioned before, registration process for IVD products and for medical devices is the same. Specific points, first of all, usually high risk classification for reagents, control materials, and calibrators. Usually they are classified as 2A, like some diseases, tuberculosis, HRV, or any others, it will be classified as 2B risk class. The second point is big quantity of registration certificates. Just example, if you have biochemistry analyzer with many parameters for diagnostics, you should have one registration standalone certificate for analyzer, for machine, and for each parameter which should diagnosed it, you should have also standalone registration certificate. So if you have 10 parameters, you will have 10 registration certificates and for reagents and 1 registration certificate for machine. Clinical trials for IVD should be done with human samples. It's also because in medical devices, usually we use comparable devices and provide clinical evaluation without human subject. So for IVD products, clinical trials with human samples is mandatory. Clinical trials for closed system could be provided only together for all devices, despite of quantity of approval processes. And for IVD products, biocompatibility trials are not required. How to save time? Of course, that is maybe the main question. To prepare a good dossier in short term, in case of good technical dossier for Russia, trials and all other steps will go smooth. Next critical point, to provide trials in parallel, to arrange them in parallel, at least if possible, and to plan QMS audit in advance. And of course, to be in close communication with your AR company. What is critical? For today, nobody knows the future of national registration system. Geopolitics can help it to be prolonged longer than 2026. So better to split AR from sales and appoint manufacturer as holder of registration certificate. So this will help you to save time in case of changing sales partner. The best regulatory strategy when legal manufacturer appoints himself as holder, because even legal manufacturer is foreign company, he could be the holder of registration certificate. And of course, if you have representative office in Russia, it's the best decision to appoint it as AR company. But if you have no representative office in Russia, it's better to appoint professional independent company. So again, legal manufacturer, even foreign company could be the holder. In the same time, AR company should be only Russian entity. So looks we are done with session 1 and session 2. We do it a little bit earlier than planned, so I can suggest to show you how database of registered devices works. Just give me some time. I will open Google Chrome and demonstrate it to you.